Who cares, he asked. Well, he's not there, so he doesn't care.
This is like nothing else. Welcome back to Moose and Loose. My name's David. Today we've got Pierre ripping Mark Carney a new one for storming out of Parliament again. He also rips Melanie Joly a new one, Francois-Philippe Champagne a new one. He's going scorched earth on all of these Liberals and there's nothing they can do about it. He is dropping the hammer with cold hard facts. Let's jump into this.
According to Canada's food price report, when the Liberals took office, the cost of a basket of groceries was $8,300. Now, it's $16,800, double. Liberal inflationary deficits and taxes on farm equipment, fertilizer, food processors have all exploded the cost of food. Tomorrow, that same report will be released projecting the cost for next year. Given the Prime Minister's promise to be judged by the prices at the grocery store, how much will Canadians have to spend on groceries to survive next year?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, let's get our numbers straight. The Canadian economy is the strongest growing economy in the G7, 2.6% annualized. Canadian wages are growing faster than inflation for every month that this government has been in office, 3.2%, over 2.2%.
We're having companies shutting down on a daily basis. Crofton, Algoma, GM, Stellantis, Bell, Hudson's Bay, Crown Royal. How many companies do we have to name where jobs are being lost, all since Mark Carney's become Prime Minister?
Unemployment is down, wages are up, the land is strong, we're moving forward.
The land is strong, is that his new slogan?
Mr. Speaker, as you walk down the grocery aisle, watching the prices rise before your eyes, know that the Prime Minister, who stashes his cash in a tax haven, says that you've never had it so good. You, the Canadian people who have seen your grocery bills literally double under this government, from $8,300 to $16,800 in a decade.
Shameful.
Tomorrow, we will find out in the Canada Food Price Report how much groceries will cost an average family next year. Given the Prime Minister has promised to be judged on the price of groceries, will he tell Canadian families how much they have to pay to survive?
This is the right line of questioning. Pierre is nailing down on cost of living because it's the biggest issue. It has doubled. The Liberals keep spending money, jacking up inflation, and they have their stupid carbon taxes, which increases the cost of everything. Before we hear Carney's response, we've got Anita Nand with this. More spending. And what do we have? $235 million going to Ukraine, to Zelensky's corrupt government that's caught in a $100 million money laundering scheme, and they send another $250 million of our money over there.
I am pleased to announce that Canada, alongside several allies, will purchase a package of military capabilities under the Pearl program. This is the NATO vehicle for military support for Ukraine. Canada's contribution to the purchase of this Pearl package will be $200 million, bringing Canada's total contribution to $890 million.
Nearly $900 million they have sent over to this corrupt government. All this wasteful spending when we're in debt. They're increasing inflation, increasing the prices on Canadians. And on top of all that, sending it to a corrupt government caught in a $100 million scandal. And what will Carney's response be to the cost of living increase that is hitting every Canadian?
Mr. Speaker, what this government is happy to tell Canadian families is we cut their taxes for 22 million Canadians. We cut the taxes on first-time home buyers, and we are investing. We are investing a budget, which the leader of the opposition and the members opposite voted against, a budget that is going to cause $1 trillion of investment in this country over the next 5 years.
Yeah, okay, $1 trillion, we got it. So just to quickly debunk, his tax cut $40 per person per month. Him claiming that it's going to be cheaper for first-time home buyers, that was already debunked. 95% of first-time home buyers will not see that benefit. It only benefits 5%.
Here's grow jobs, grow futures for Canada. We believe in Canada. Yeah. Join us.
Here, here. We voted against this Prime Minister doubling Justin Trudeau's deficit, which will drive up groceries even more. And what's he spending the money on? on corporate bailouts for companies that ship jobs out of Canada. The Prime Minister promised he would negotiate a win and have a deal by July 21st. Still no win, still no deal, still no elbows. And now 1,000 workers at Algoma Steel are losing their jobs. We now learn that the Prime Minister gave $400 million to the corporate executives of that company without any job guarantees. How is it the Prime Minister could have been so incompetent to saddle Canadians who can't afford to pay their bills with a $400 million bailout bill without any guarantee of jobs staying in Canada?
This is good. He's hitting all the right points here. As I pointed out in my previous video here, it's most likely because there's ties between Dennis Turcotte, Brookfield, and Algoma Steel, and the fact that Brookfield has this company that works with Algoma Steel, sending them their green energy. They're helping out a company that is friendly to Brookfield, and they need this company. What Carney and Liberals are doing is so corrupt, it should be a jailable offense. You shouldn't just be able to send off hundreds of millions of dollars to a company with no guarantee of anything in return. I mean, they shouldn't be getting the money, period. But we need to change a lot of rules in our country.
Mr. Speaker, these are difficult times in Sault Ste. Marie, and our hearts go to the families. But as I quote the CEO of Algoma Steel, that there would be an even darker day if this government hadn't acted.
Exactly.
That loan, that support, saved 2/3 of those jobs. That loan, that support gives Algoma a bridge to the future that we are building strong in this country and that they voted against.
This is very interesting because Carney doesn't like this line of question. You can see right at the end, I'll just mute it here. You can see, so Carney points at Pierre right at the end here, and he does this aggressive jab towards Pierre. Pierre has hit a nerve here. Not only that, throughout the entire time, he's pointing. This is a very accusatory body language. You can see how aggressive his motions are here. He's getting backed into a corner and he doesn't like it. And he doesn't know how to handle it because he's not a politician. The trained politicians learn to be able to handle this stuff, hide how they're truly feeling. Carney doesn't have this training. Pierre just needs to keep hammering on this because he struck a nerve. Carney is showing his cards here.
As long as the CEO is happy with the $400 million gift he got from the Prime Minister, that's all that matters to these Liberals.
Yeah.
He didn't give the workers a bridge to the future. He gave them a bridge to the unemployment lines, 1,000 of them. 1/3 of the workers at Algoma in Sault Ste. Marie have now lost their jobs after the Prime Minister paid to have those jobs shipped abroad. How is it that he could have been so irresponsible with the money of hardworking Canadians that he would pay a corporate CEO $400 million to send 1,000 jobs south?
The Right Honourable Prime Minister.
But yeah, that's what happened.
Mr. Speaker, may I quote a Conservative leader that's...
Wow, he's like yelling. He really doesn't like this. Pierre has found the sore spot.
May I quote a Conservative leader that's actually in office? The Premier of Ontario. We had a choice. Save 2/3 of the jobs or let the company go down. We chose the future. We chose the future for Algoma Steel so they can invest in the future, so we can buy Canadian, so we can build this country. They had an opportunity to vote for that future. They voted against it. It's good that we're here.
He chose a company in bed with Brookfield. And Doug Ford is not a conservative. He's a liberal. Even though he's in charge of the Progressive Conservative Party, he's a liberal.
The head of Algoma told CTV yesterday that your government and the federal government would have been aware that there were job losses on the horizon. Is that true?
Yeah, well, we put in $100 million. The feds put in about $400 million. What the CEO told us that there'd be a dramatic change. If we didn't put it in, it'd be a lot more than 1,000 people. We need the federal government to start ramping up the procurement for the military.
A dramatic change. Do they have it in writing what that change will be? You notice there's all this mention of military, as I just showed, $235 million going to Ukraine for military spending. And then we had the parliamentary budget officer yesterday saying that they couldn't get information from the government on military procurement, what they're spending money on. They asked for information and weeks later they still won't give them anything. And meanwhile, who did Mark Carney put in charge of all this? Doug Guzman, this RBC banker getting paid $600-something thousand a year. This is a Goldman Sachs buddy from back in the day, Harvard. Carney stuck a banker in the position of Chief Executive Officer of Defense Investment Agency. What does he know about this? Carney needed someone he really trusted in this position, and they have no transparency of what they're doing with our money regarding military procurement, and they're firing our money off to Ukraine. Canadians need to wake up real quick before we don't have a country left. So they just went over to French, coming back. Will Carney run away, or is he going to stick around this time?
The opposition.
Liberals love to give corporate bailouts and handouts to companies that ship jobs out of our country. Now we learn the Liberal government has pledged $15 billion or $1,000 for every tax-paying family in Canada, people who can't afford food, to Stellantis. And Mr. Speaker,
Carney's leaving. You could see Pierre look over and see him leave. There's a guy down here in the corner that was also calling him out. They're all making noises here. Carney's storming out again.
investment is fleeing this country almost as fast as the Prime Minister is running out the back door of Parliament right now. Why won't he?
The honourable member, the honourable member knows that's offside. The honourable member knows.
That's not offside. He needs to stand there and answer questions. Otherwise, he shouldn't be Prime Minister. This guy needs to be thrown out of power immediately. Wow. Some major outrage here.
That was offside. That was offside.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister gets angry and runs out the door rather than answering the questions about the cost.
Wow.
Out the door, $1,000 for every tax-paying family to a company that is shipping jobs out of the country. Why is he sending our dollars away, our jobs away, while he runs away?
The Honourable Minister of Finance.
Well, what is she so happy about? The Prime Minister can't handle criticism? He can't stand up and defend his own words? So he's just going to storm out.
Come on, Mr. Speaker. By the time they ask question on this side of the House, every single member on this side, Mr. Speaker, we're fighting for Canada. We're fighting for our auto industry. We're fighting for our workers. We're fighting to build Canada strong, Mr. Speaker. We should all join to defend our workers in the middle of a trade war. We don't need that kind of conservative politics. We need to stand up for Canada, build Canada strong.
Yeah, being loud and pointing and waving your hands around doesn't save those jobs, Champagne. This guy, McKinnon, Trudeau, get all of them together. They can start their own comedy show.
I believe in Canada, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister can't stand up for workers if he can't even stand up in the House of Commons. And that finance minister is the one that signed the sweetheart $15 billion subsidy deal.
I've got company here.
Just do the job.
I've got company. I didn't hear the beginning of the question. The member did lose one question, but I'd like him to start from the top on that one.
The Prime Minister cannot stand up for workers if he cannot even stand up and answer my questions, Mr. Speaker. And that finance minister is not stood up for workers either. He signed a $15 billion sweetheart subsidy deal with Stellantis. And now that same company, taking our tax dollars, the equivalent of $1,000 for every family in Canada, is shipping the jobs to the United States of America. The current industry minister says she has not even read the $15 billion contract. Has the Prime Minister even read the contract, or did he simply look at the $15 billion deal and say, who cares?
Yeah. Oh, Pierre's nailing him hard here. Melanie Jolie's not going to stand up for this one.
Mr. Speaker, Canadians who are watching at home are looking at someone whose only deed is ever made was to come to this House, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, Mr. Speaker, we have always stood to make sure we will build this country. We will attract investment, Mr. Speaker. He should be ashamed. Ask Canadian, when is the last deal he brought in this country, Mr. Speaker? Ask.
Ashamed. These guys have pushed more Canadians into tents in human history, and he talks about ashamed.
When he created one job in his country apart his own job, Mr. Speaker. On this side of the House, we will always stand for workers. We will bring investment. We will build the strongest economy in the G7 because we believe in Canada. We're going to fight, Mr. Speaker, every single day for Canada.
You're going to go and report to the Prime Minister to the Witness Protection Program because he refuses to stand in this House and answer about his government's expenditure of $15 billion, $1,000 for every Canadian family to one company, supposedly to create jobs. That same company now ships those jobs south of the border, and the government is covering up the contract. Yesterday, we learned from the company that they don't have any reason to retract the contract. So Why doesn't the government release the full details of the contract so that Canadians can find out how badly the Prime Minister ripped them off?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
3 points. First, he should ask the member from Windsor-Tecumseh from his side of the House whether she agrees with what he says regarding the Stellantis workers in Windsor.
Here. Yeah.
Second, when it comes to the documents, the committee members will have access to all the documents. That's a moot question.
That's right.
Third,
That's a moot question. You guys hid information. You should be in jail for this. This is not like, oh, well, you found out. Okay, here, I'll give it to you. This should be, we're throwing your butt in the slammer. She didn't even read the contract. She should be fired for that. Why is she still here? She's completely useless.
when it comes to what is happening with Stellantis at Brampton, we had a contract. They broke the contract. Stellantis did. We'll get our money back, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, like they got her money back for a Rive scam. What happened to that? It's not a cottage, it's a chalet. They haven't got any of that money back. They don't even care.
3 points, Mr. Speaker, about this $15 billion bailout and handout. She didn't read the contract, she didn't read the contract, and she didn't read the contract. How can she possibly claim she's going to get the money back when she doesn't know what legal powers are in the contract? Because she admits she didn't read the contract, Mr. Speaker. So my question to her, as families are lining up at food banks because they can't afford food, how does she justify charging every single household $1,000 for a handout to a company shipping jobs south of the border?
The Honourable Minister of Industry.
Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I didn't admit that. Second, I read the contract.
So you notice right away her body language, her like stop sign hand. She's subconsciously trying to block what Pierre's sending over because it's damning. It's absolutely damning to her reputation, exposing her utter incompetence.
Mr. Speaker, first and foremost, I didn't admit that. Second, I read the contract. And third, the committee members will have all the details. That being said, Mr. Speaker, what we'll do is we will fight for these jobs. We know that the workers are affected in the auto sector, in the steel sector, by the unjustified and unjustifiable American tariffs. And we will make sure that we get these jobs back to Canada, and we'll fight for every single job, Mr. Speaker.
You can see the same accusatory pointing tone here, authoritative. It's trying to make up for this huge hole in their leadership, their lack of leadership. It's obvious here Pierre's slaughtering them, but the stop sign hand is just subconsciously trying to block this onslaught of truth hitting them.
The Honourable...
Madam Speaker, I had the honor to stand with the Unifor workers in Brampton who were out in the rain and the cold. There was not a Liberal around, not a word from the Prime Minister. All of them wanted to know what was happening with their jobs. The Liberals had given money to Stellantis for that plant, given $15 billion to Stellantis for another plant. And those workers, out in the cold, unable to afford their mortgages, were wondering how it was possible for this Prime Minister to give $15 billion without even guaranteeing their jobs. Does he have the courage to stand up now and explain it to their face?
Pierre's smart here. He knows full well, so Carney's not there. He can't stand up. For a social media clip, it just looks bad that Carney's not standing up.
Mr. Speaker, I don't need any lesson. We don't need at least any lesson from the Conservatives when it comes to courage and standing up for workers that are unionized. That is why I was in Brampton along with the workers, and that is why I...
So what she's doing here, she's bringing her tone down. She's trying to bring the energy back down because they're getting crushed so badly. These guys get trained by communication experts. I've seen this before. Different ministers do this. It depends on who it is. Some ministers will always escalate, like Francois Philippe Champagne, and others will use this tactic to try to bring the heat down.
I was even talking to Lana Payne a bit earlier today, because you know what she was telling me? She was saying to me how much the Harper government and the Conservative government in 2009, when the government at the time decided to bail out GM and Chrysler, they did nothing to protect the workers, and that is what is their record when it comes to the auto sector.
That's right. We're back to it's Harper's fault. 15 some odd years ago, it's Harper's fault.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Prime Minister asked an interesting question. Who cares? Who cares, he asked. Well, he's not there, so he doesn't care, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah.
I assume that the member meant somehow metaphorically. Yeah.
No, literally, Mark Carney doesn't give a crap about Canada. Let's call it as it is, just as Pierre's doing.
Maybe next time, not so many metaphors.
Hey, Mark.
It was a metaphor, just like all those liberal promises, Mr. Speaker. Now, Mr. Speaker, unfortunately, today we learned even more terrible news. The Domtar workers in British Columbia have lost their jobs as a 30th mill has closed under this Liberal government. The Prime Minister promised that he would get a deal to end the tariffs, and those tariffs have tripled, all while he removes the legal challenge against the illegal softwood lumber tariffs. How is it the Prime Minister broke his promise and sold out our lumber workers?
The Honourable... I'm glad the member opposite has realized there is a trade war. That trade war is creating challenging times for the people of Crofton, and we understand that.
This coming from Mark Carney's right-hand man, where Carney has not got a deal. You can't say, I'm glad the member realizes there's a trade war, when you guys haven't got the deal.
I was on the phone with the CEO today working on new solutions to retool that mill. I was on the phone with the Minister of Forestry looking at new fiber solutions for the mill. We are standing up for the forestry industry. They just complain.
It's such an awful argument. You gotta hear this. So they just nail Mark Miller right out the gate here?
Mr. Speaker, does the Prime Minister realize that he made a monumental mistake when he appointed the least competent Liberal to the most important position to defend the French language in Canada and Quebec? The Honourable Minister. Mr. Speaker, there's no one in Canada who thinks that Pierre Poilievre would protect French.
You can't name someone's name. That's the rule. He's already broken the rule his first day back as a minister. What a clown.
Yes. He made a mistake, but he still has the floor. I retract the member's name, Mr. Speaker.
This guy just embarrasses himself the first time back.
I know the current member for Carleton will do more to defend French than the previous member for Carleton.
Yeah, so that's why Carney brought him in there, to run shield and just take attacks at Pierre. Mark Miller is an absolute worthless minister. He's done nothing to help Canada.